And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody in the Combat Wrestling Network, thank you for joining us for this impromptu, not really a breakdown show, more of a kickback. I am your host, as usual, AD, the nasty one, Adonis Nazario. And today I'm joined, of course, by my brother JB3. But first, before I get to JB3, somebody who everybody should bow down and kiss the ring to when it comes to the trivia fan world. A man who technically needs no introduction, but since this is the first time I really have any real live interaction with him, and I am very pleased and thankful that he decided to take time out of his Friday night to join us on our little breakdown show. The man, the myth, the legend, the person that'll put you to sleep, the Sandman, the crazy Canadian, Sandy Robinson. Thank you again for joining us, and welcome to the kickback, bro.
Hey guys, I am so happy that you guys asked me to come on today. I've been meaning to come on, but it's you know what? This is my first time. It's a Friday night. We're going to talk some wrestling. I'm looking forward to this.
And you know, like everything else, man. Usually we have a format. Today is just three buddies. It's a kickback edition. Just us three guys talking shit. JB3. What's good, bro?
What's up, everybody? Check it out. Welcome to the Kickback. This is where we kick back and relax. Normally, you guys, we do the breakdown where we hit you fast, we hit you hard, we hit you quick. We give you the real facts. We give you our real thoughts and our real opinions, and we do it in that manner. But today, we on the kickback. We're gonna kick back. We're gonna talk shit, and we just gonna, address things that need to be addressed. Things that we have some concerns with in the WWE, and we hope you enjoy it.
Yes, sir. So, Sandy, I know how JB feels. JB knows how I feel. Asuka. A lot of us out there, there's some people, you got your internet trolls who are like, she has no charisma or she doesn't speak English. And I was one of those dudes that said, she didn't get a push because of the language barrier. But then I go back and think about Mr. Fuji, and I think about, a lot of these Taka Michinoku who they didn't really speak English, but with the right gimmick and push, they can get over. And Asuka's over. Nobody can deny that she's over. She doesn't have to say anything. And she's been buried. That's my opinion.
And I agree.
How do you feel about it? Like,
well, she's been buried. I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, she's been buried. Like they pushed her right from the outset. Like when she first started on there, like she was the undefeated Asuka. She was doing that, and then they blew that up. They could have kept that going for so long, but she loses to Charlotte. And you're like sitting there going, all right, okay, fine. But then she's pretty much just then she wins the Rumble, and you're like, okay, but what are you gonna do with it? The same kind of thing I've been upset about, and with Asuka is with Shinsuke as well. Like both of them, I feel are in that same boat because their English skills aren't super. They've both been buried. Like Shinsuke, like is not a mid card player. He should be in the mix for the United States and even the heavyweight, one of the heavyweight titles. He should be around that for it. And same with Asuka. But for whatever reason, and you brought up Mr. Fuji. Mr. Fuji was a different dude, though. I mean, he was used because of his Asian, accent. He always was like, "Oh, we're gonna get you," and he had that broken English.
It was more in the time of racial parody. I totally
exactly
agree. But at the same time, charisma is charisma.
It is, and both
of them exude it.
Yeah, and Asuka has it. I mean, she didn't say anything for a really long time. Like it was, she would make her little noises in the ring and stuff, but she didn't really do interviews all that much, especially in her first initial entrance into the main roster.
Yeah, Mystique.
Exactly. And like, okay, fine. Do that. She doesn't need to talk that much. We've seen people with way less mic skills get over way faster than somebody like Asuka, who actually has legit in-ring skill and can get the crowd involved and get the crowd hyped up. And you see that every time she comes out there. I mean, now, you know, now that Paige is done with her movie, they had to find a place for her because she wants to be involved and stuff. So, you know, bringing in somebody else up from NXT, putting them with Paige and with Asuka, you know, they all came from the same place. I'm hoping that they get a better push now with it. But the WWE's been really, really bad lately with just burying people into non-existence. And you're just like, whoa, what? Or, and then taking the people that you're like, why are these guys getting a push? You know, like there is so much talent out there, but Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder getting, you know, the tag team straps on them.
We'll get into that. We'll get
crap. But yeah, so as far as Asuka's concerned, I hope that they do better with her. I hope that she gets more of a chance to show herself not only in tag but in singles division. Because let's be honest, seeing the same 3 or 4, 5, you know,
stale.
Yeah, it's just stale. It's boring. The booking's been crap lately.
JB3.
Yeah, so
we've had very long discussions about this. I want you to tell them what, you know, everybody out there, Sandy, me and you have talked off air. What is your solution, bro? Because I know you have insight, and I like your insight.
All right, so let's go back. We have to go back. This is the solution. There's the solution is 3 letters. We'll get to it. So let's go back to when Asuka joined NXT. She had the mystique. She had the hype. She was undefeated. She beat Bayley. She became NXT champion. She became the longest reigning NXT champion. She even almost pretty much had like a heel turn as the champion because of how she did it. And she was incredibly over. And take her hold on a second. You take her whole time from NXT, and then she gave up the NXT championship and she went to Raw or SmackDown or whichever it was going to be. And Sandy was right. When she first joined SmackDown, they still kept the mystique, but they put themselves in a corner. You see, because there's something that NXT had for her that was different than WWE, and that was the prospect of going up. See, so once she got to the WWE, there was no main roster after that. So they knew that at that point, they had to get rid of the undefeated streak at some point. So here's the thing. They started off okay, but then they had the mixed match challenge, and it became predictable because Miz was her partner, and it was like, she's not going to lose.
Can I get a timeout real quick?
What's up?
All right, I want to interject something into there. From NXT to the mixed match challenge, 2 things happened that are very critical. She won the Rumble, and instead of capitalizing on the momentum, they squashed her. Not squashed her because it wasn't a squash match, but they crushed everything they had in the undefeated, the mystique, everything by taking away her win at WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, I was going to get there. The mixed match challenge, and it became predictable. And like you said, you just brought up the Royal Rumble. That also became predictable. I mean, I had her as my pick to win just because I was like, they're not going to get rid of her undefeated streak.
But at the same time, when the Rumble happened, right, I was just getting back into wrestling. And as a casual, to you guys, it may have been predictable, but to me, right, as a person looking at it from what I used to watch as a kid, when I saw 2 Bellas and an Asian girl in the ring, I figured it was going to be one of those Bellas, or you know, somebody, you know, in that older echelon type big name thing. When I found out that Asuka, you know, when I saw Asuka win, I was just like, wow, this chick is really that good. You know, she's that shit. And that's when I started going back to NXT.
Well, right. And us as real fans, we, you know, and I don't want to say real fans like you're not a real fan. I'm just saying us as like hardcore fans,
I'm not hardcore
Who's
now.
been watching
My
her
feelings are
with the
hurt.
build
I'm
up.
not hardcore. Oh
We,
God, I'm
we've
sweating.
been
I'm not hardcore.
we thought the same thing. We're like, yes, because we were not against her going to the top and going to WrestleMania. So here's where it went wrong. I believe that WrestleMania, her losing to Charlotte, was a problem. But there's one reason why
All right, but
that
where
was
did
a
it go?
problem.
Where did it become catastrophic? Because we're at the point of catastrophe at this point.
At
Sandy,
the
do
end
you
of the
agree?
match, when she lost the match, that's when it became catastrophic because it was a great
WrestleMania.
match. WrestleMania. She could have won the match. Now, this is my solution. I had to build up to my solution. My solution is they're too late. This is what they should have done. And Sandy and AD, check this out. So WrestleMania, she wins against Charlotte and she wins the title. Okay. She makes Charlotte tap out to the Asuka lock. It's the other way around. Okay. That
Okay.
was the same exact year, correct me if I'm wrong, that Ronda Rousey had her tag team match where she teamed with Angle and she went up against what's her face?
I think you're
Triple
right.
H and Stephanie.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ronda had a killer match. At that moment in time, if Asuka would have won, they could have kept her undefeated streak going until the next year's WrestleMania. They could have built Ronda Rousey on Raw like they already did. She
Mm-hmm.
won the Raw title and she went all the way. They could have kept the title on Asuka. They could have just had her win. But check this out. And I'm going to give this is my evidence of why. Becky Lynch at Survivor Series became SmackDown champion. Okay. She was the SmackDown, or before Survivor Series, she became SmackDown champion. She was going to face Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series, and everybody was excited about it. She got something happened, injured. I think it was an injury. She couldn't.
She got punched in the face by sloppy ass
That's right.
Nia Jax.
Yeah, by floppy. Yeah,
Hold on,
yeah,
time out,
that's
time
right.
out,
I
time out.
almost forgot.
Let's put a pin in that. Let's put
Hold on,
real
hold on.
quick,
I'm
real
almost
quick.
done. I'm almost
I don't
done.
mean to cut you off.
Hold on, I'm almost done, bro. I'm almost done. Because you got to know. Okay, check it. When she was picking her replacement, if you remember that SmackDown, she
Mm-hmm.
picked Charlotte and gave her the hug. But when
She
she
didn't
walked
pick
up,
Charlotte. Vince picked Charlotte.
you know what I mean. I mean, they had it seem like she picked. I'm talking about
Yeah.
story, kayfabe. So when she walked by Asuka, that crowd went absolutely nuts.
Mm-hmm.
They could have built up Ronda Rousey undefeated, Asuka undefeated,
Can
title, winner takes all, big time. That was their solution. But now they did everything they did, and now she's in the tag division, and she's
all
probably gonna. There's no telling what they're gonna do.
right, Sandy.
You know what? I like that solution. I'm okay with that. I think that's the way they should have gone. I think that if you're going to make somebody like, look at what they did with Braun Strowman. Like, how long did he hold his undefeated streak? It was like forever that he held it. And why not give that? Why not do that same dominance to Asuka? If you're going to bring her up and you're going to make her the face of the women's division, or however you want to put it, why not give her a full shot? Don't like make her undefeated for like 6 matches and then her go up against Charlotte and get beat. Like, that doesn't it doesn't make any sense to that's the whole point that I have a problem with is that I sit back and I've been such a wrestling fan for my entire life, and I've seen great stories develop and I've seen shitty stories develop over the years and the decades. And it just seemed like sloppy booking. Like, all right, well, we don't want Asuka. We wanted, she was great when she came up and stuff like that, but she's really hard to get an interview with her. But so we got to put it on to Charlotte, or we got to put it on Sasha, or we got to put it on Becky or Bailey or whatever. Why? Like, why not just build the mystique up for a long time and then wait until, yeah, exactly, have her take the strap, and then Ronda gets the strap, and then but they missed the opportunity. And then what did they do? They found themselves a Snow White underdog and did the exact thing we're talking about with another person. And
I also, with JP's solution, thinking about it, there are 3 factors that come in play. And the only reason I know this is because I started digging and started like Wikipedia. And I'm not I don't listen to Dave Meltzer. I don't have time for that shit. I'm a grown ass man with bills and shit to do. You know what I mean? I get my information either from what I see online, YouTube, or what JB3 tells me. And I listen to JB3 because he hasn't lied to me yet and he won't steer me wrong. And Nico, shout out to my boy Nico.
Those Night Fury.
Nico always hits me up. Is like, yo, did you see this? Yo, did you hear about this? Asuka is 38 years old, and I'm not age discriminating. I'm looking at it how the WWE is going to look at it.
Yeah.
She's 38. Does she look 38? Does she act 38? No, but she is 38. And at some point, speaking as somebody who played sports at a very high level for a very long time, your body just says, no. Wear and tear of wrestling. I'm not saying this is my opinion. I'm saying this is what they're looking at. We have somebody who has lived in the United States for the last 5 years, can barely speak English. We saw her on YouTube on Sheamus's channel, and it took them 10 minutes to start the workout because he couldn't get across to her. Shane, how many times do you want to do this? And bitch, there's Rosetta Stone. Right? So I'm playing devil's advocate here.
All right, that was perfect timing because that almost went right onto my screen right there. That's great. Yeah.
You have to take a little bit of accountability. Talent only goes so far, but superstars are made on the mic. There was nothing that can be done outside. The only thing that I saw totally detrimental are two things. Outside of the fact that you never bothered to learn English, right? Nobody's ready for Asuka. Guess what? Apparently Carmella is. That was the shot through the heart. And then beating Becky at Survivor Series.
Royal Rumble.
At Royal Rumble, my bad.
Yep.
And then not even having a match at WrestleMania and dropping the title to Charlotte when if they really wanted to. No, hold on, listen to me. I know you're shaking your head, but listen to me.
No, I'm just agreeing with you because that was so fucked up.
But just like I said, devil's advocate. If Asuka took the time she don't have to speak perfect English. Shit, I'm Puerto Rican from the hood. I don't speak perfect English. and the only people that speak perfect English are the people in England and Oxford. Dead ass. Everybody else has fucked up American language. Anyway, speaking American, right? If she would have taken the time to be like, even cut a Instagram broken kayfabe promo. Thank you for supporting me. I'm trying real hard. I'm in a learning. I want you to, this is for my fans. I want you to understand me, and then spit some shit in Japanese so everybody pops. If she would have done all those things, she wouldn't have dropped the title to Charlotte. It wouldn't have been shoehorn Charlotte. It would have been Ronda, Asuka, and Becky. And this is where Becky is truly the underdog. Becky already beat Charlotte. Becky never beat Asuka. You know why it doesn't work? That sounds great, right? You know why it doesn't work? Because she never took the time to learn English.
The only rebuttal I have to that, because I agree, if she would have took the time and she would have learned, I think that you're right. She would have done a lot better. However, the WWE, like Sandy said, they're lazy. Because if that was a problem, they have an answer to that problem. It's the same.
What's that?
To the same thing they did to Brock Lesnar. Give her a manager, a mouthpiece. She don't have to talk. Let someone talk for her.
No, but this is the thing. At some point, you know why I don't give a fuck about Brock Lesnar? And I'm a UFC fan. You know why I don't give a shit? Because he doesn't speak for himself. I come from a place where you could talk for Sandy all day. Sandy could talk for you all day, right? And until I hear it from either one of you, Your mouthpiece is just making noise.
Yeah, but that's not really the point. Is that Brock is not good on the mic. He can speak perfect English, but he's a really boring person to listen to.
Have you ever heard any of his UFC?
They're brutal. They're brutal, dude. Like he's not good on the mic. He's just not, no matter where, UFC and WWE. So they legit put somebody, they put the best talker in the entire world on with him to be his mouthpiece. They did it with CM Punk, even though CM Punk was really good on the mic, he didn't want to talk. So they didn't let him. Like he just sat, he didn't do it. He did exactly what Brock Lesnar did. And Paul talked for him. That once again, they are 2 years too late doing what they did. Paige should have been their manager, should have been her manager all right from the beginning. Then we wouldn't have to deal with any of this crap. This she can't speak English bullshit because you've got a mouthpiece. Brock Lesnar's whole second career with WWE has been predicated on the fact like, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and that's it. And then all he does is sit there. And the minute he pisses somebody else off, somebody comes running. I'm just an advocate. I'm just an advocate. Just back off. And that's how he gets away with it. There was absolutely no reason with the wealth of injured, not working talent that the WWE has that they could have thrown somebody there and said, "This is your manager now," and
this
could have solved it.
This is true. I think the Paige thing honestly has manifested because it didn't manifest earlier. I honestly think that she was still dealing with personally knowing that all this women's evolution was happening, and she was the one who kicked in the door, and she can't be a part of it physically.
Yeah.
I think it was a little hard for her to play manager and GM and things like that. If you watch like the 365s and the behind the scenes, or even, I have a lady that watches Total Divas. I ain't ashamed to say it. You know why I started watching wrestling again? Because she was watching Total Divas, and my best friend upstairs was like, "Oh yeah, you should see this. Oh, you never heard of this person? Oh, this is awesome." And then they suckered me, and now I'm here on a Friday night talking about some shit that pisses me off. You see how this is a vicious circle. But no, seriously,
that's the thing too.
I don't think Paige is in a mindset.
I agree with you about the language thing. Like, I think she could have done more, but she can't take all the blame. Vince McMahon, he's being a punk, man. He's being a punk with her. He's being a punk with Luke Harper. He's being a punk with anybody he don't personally think will get. He'll be like, I don't like that. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna bury him.
Hold on. I know we don't have a format, but we're gonna keep rambling about Asuka, and I know we want to get into other things. Sandy, you got a last thought on Asuka, real quick?
I just think it's a waste of the WWE when it's such a simple fix, and they've done it now. They've given that fix out, but I think it was such a waste of 2 years that if it was me running the show, which it's not, it's Vince until Triple H takes over.
Hey, I told everybody before, and if you go back and watch some of the episodes, I live 10 minutes away from the Stanford headquarters. He can have an accident.
I just, you know what, Vince?
You see, I made him uncomfortable, like I made Nico. So the hands, he's like, wait, we're talking about attempted murder. No.
I think Vince is a genius, and I get that. I think that Vince's genius period has gone. I think that Paul is the driver of the ideas nowadays. I think that while Vince still wants to be involved, I just don't think that you waste people like this. I think there's a reason why you have NXT and why NXT is so successful. That means you're bringing somebody up to replace somebody else on the roster. And Asuka was definitely somebody to look out for, longest reigning NXT champion. And as much as they as much as they, pushed her in the beginning, they really buried her. And I hope that this tag thing really brings her back to the forefront and she gets a shot.
JB, the state of women's wrestling. I know you and I had some insight and outlook off camera. The
Yeah.
state of women's wrestling. As far as they said about this evolution, right? And it's supposed to be a women's evolution, and they're finally getting the time and the respect that they deserve. Nobody's denying that. I am on the forefront. I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, this is because Total Divas. I got into what the chicks were doing, and I saw that they were having cage matches at Hell in a Cell, and I was like, wrestling? Chicks in Hell in a Cell? Ooh, I'm in. Right?
Yeah.
For all this that has happened, I think they got ahead of themselves with bringing people up and stories that they're not doing real things with. And even though, we've said, and I've said it time and time again, there's not enough titles for them. Oh yeah, there's a tag team title. Who cares? Nobody's doing anything with it. It's held up to be shiny, and I'm not mad at the Iconics got it, but the state of women's wrestling is this, in my opinion. Too much talent. They don't know what to do with it. Not enough time. Not enough belts. People are unhappy. Fans are unhappy. The ratings are down. Everything, one big ball of wax. Can of worms, whatever analogy you want to use. At what point do you stop being your own worst enemy? You know what I mean? Like,
it's a really easy situation to solve. It really is. And it comes with one big word, and that word is competition. If the WWE had another rival wrestling organization nobody's going to be on par with WWE. It's not another WCW is not going to just pop up. But if there was another viable option for wrestlers to go to and to give Vince, because that's what made wrestling really great in the Attitude Era, was because Vince was getting pushed down and ready to be taken over. And he had to come up, and his guys had to come up, and they had to make things interesting again. And that's when you got the Rocks and the Stone Colds and the resurgence of the Undertaker and the Dead Man, and you got all these really great people out there because they had to compete with somebody else. And that's when you got great storylines and great builds for characters and matches. And unfortunately, it's just, once again, it's lazy. It's just lazy because they don't have to do anything.
You're right. And also, you say that, the competition brings, there's one difference between the Attitude Era and now, because AEW is a threat, and that they're threatened by them. So let's just call a spade and say that they're going to be the new WCW. But the difference between now and then is, I
think that's unfair though.
But back then, check this out. Back then in the women's division, they didn't care. They could get by in the 90s by putting them in bra and panty matches and showing their titties off and doing that kind of shit.
Yeah, they were wrestlers. They were models. There was a select
wrestlers. So now they have to come up with stories for them. Now, like you say, I agree with you. What I think that they should do is, I think that they got the main event scene popping. What, 3 or 4? That's it. It's not going to change. Intercontinental Championship needs to happen. Then you got a workhorse title for them to fight, a women's Intercontinental Championship. And honestly, the tag team division, the Iconics, I like that they got the titles. I wish that Sasha and Bayley would have kept them, but since there's nothing we could do about that now, the Iconics are doing what they can with it. They're using their characters, which are heel characters, and they're doing heel things to get their characters over while they're the champions. And they're going to get the belts over as long as they can get a reign. And whoever beats them is going to get cheered. And they just got to have to come up with the stories, man. They have to, everything that both of you guys just said needs to happen. They need to have competition, but they need to be creative. And when you got women who are wrestling instead of showing tits. You can't just say, hey, go show your tits. You have to come up with a whole story, a whole match, a whole story within a match. And then you got a whole storyline. Then you got a whole script because they script everything. So you got a whole scripted promo that they have to do. And it's just so much. That's so much more. And they're dropping the ball with it because they had this. I got one more thing. They had the women's evolution, right? And it went great. I think at WrestleMania it peaked. And now they don't know what to do. They're stuck. I think that they're stuck, and they have to find a way to get the titles off of Becky, and then maybe they're going to have another one. And now they're like, oh, crap, what do we do now? What do they do now?
Man,
Sandy,
are you everything you guys are saying right now is 100% correct. I just, why is it so hard for the main WWE writing staff to be like, because we can all admit, even though I don't watch, and I'm ashamed that I don't watch. There's only so many hours in the day though that I can watch TV. NXT is over, like it, and it's been over for a long time. People are like love NXT more so than they love the main roster or SmackDown, any of that. Why is it so easy for NXT to come up with storylines and they can't do the same on the main roster?
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah,
NXT is shot like old school WWE house shows and WCW house shows where they have a script, right? And they shoot 7-8 days. You know, they shoot 2 days, then they take a couple days off, and then they shoot another 2 days, all in the same little place, and the same townspeople from that part of Florida, the Full Sail people, that area, come. And you know what? It's not the college kids, because the people that go to that school that live on campus aren't allowed to go to the WWE.
Oh, okay.
So it's like having a regional show that has millions of dollars pumped into it.
So sort of like the way Nitro was for the first little while
in Atlanta. When they were strictly in the Georgia Dome. Remember those days?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or they would wrestle at the Georgia Tech Event Center.
I mean, that's a great point. It still doesn't change the fact that the main roster's writers are just being lazy. They're just being lazy.
It's not even that. It's not even lazy. Vince comes in, and Road Dogg quit because he comes in last minute and changes a bunch of shit.
Everything. That's what he did to Sasha. That's what he did to Sasha.
Yeah. And
Bailey.
And I guarantee, I don't know this, I don't have statistics in front of me, I didn't look into it, but I'm willing to bet that 99% of that writing staff on both Raw and SmackDown are men.
Oh, most likely.
Yeah. Okay. Older.
Say it, man. Older white dudes. They don't know what the fuck women want, man. Say that shit because it's real.
It's real.
Older white dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The black girls get buried. Sasha Banks, all because she was Snoop Dogg's cousin, gets a push. Not taking away from her wrestling, but that's what made her marketable.
Right. And you're not saying that they're racist. You're just saying that you're saying that they don't know what to do with the women because they don't understand them. They have no clue. They're just lost. Right. So if I know anybody wouldn't think that, but yeah, they don't know what to do.
And Stephanie McMahon sitting here talking about, I'm banging the drum for the women's evolution, and because of that hashtag give divas a chance, we sparked this evolution, and she's at the forefront. You know what? I know for a fact, because I heard it from his mouth, that Christian Harloff was hired by Stephanie McMahon. Even though Christian Harloff was only there for a couple of months, she was the one who hired him. She was the one who fired him. So guess what? I know for a fact that if she wanted to, she could freelance some women's writers who know wrestling. I know they're out there. I know there are very competent women out there that could write storylines for women's wrestling all day long.
Yeah, she's probably got an ego though. She probably doesn't want any more women because she's the woman.
No, it has nothing to do with her being the woman. When you're really the man or you're really the woman, you do what's best you surround yourself with people, right, that enhance everything that you want to portray. They're your extensions into the world. They're your lifelines. They're the ones who creatively help you get your vision across. And they come with ideas and they come with, brainstorming things that are outside of the box that maybe you didn't think of. And you ride off that wave. And it's simple. If you get threatened by them, or that's an ego problem on you. And two, if they're freelance and you're bringing them in to brainstorm, kind of like a think tank, you keep a few and you put them on payroll, and the other ones you send go with an NDR so they can't jump over to AEW with their ideas. It is a simple fix, bro. Look, I come from a neighborhood where everything is a hustle. And the only way to survive is to know how to move in and out and put your ego aside and be willing to do things that are outside of your character to benefit you. Whether it's good or bad, it's ignorant or not. I'm not glorifying anything, but that also translates into the business world. You could be cutthroat all you want. After you've done cutting all the throats, everybody's dead, right? You have no friends, and you bleed out yourself because the one person that you couldn't cut their throat, the people that survived, they all gravitate to them, and now you fucked. That's the same thing that happened with Turner.
It's happening right now.
It happened with Paul Heyman in ECW. I know this because I saw the documentary. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
He rubbed everybody the wrong way, and he fucked ECW. Tommy Dreamer says it too.
And he knew it. He knew it months before it ended. He knew it.
If you're about women and you have as much power as Stephanie McMahon does, she needs to start hiring women writers. Period. And
there's no other way.
You just take a step back and have the ego to take a step back.
But see, like Sandy said, eventually it ain't even gonna matter because she imagine this. Just imagine this. It's like the biggest, nastiest trump card that could be pulled on somebody. Because let's say Stephanie hires, freelances, some women to have this big story with women, right? And they're about to have this big culmination, and it's about to culminate, and they got 1 week before the big event, and then all of a sudden they got the creative, and they're just coming over the last minutes of creative, and they get to the 2 days before the event or a week before the event, and then Vince McMahon just pops in the door and he's like, "I don't like it. Change it. This is what we're gonna do. We're changing it. This is happening. I don't care." And then boom.
And guess what?
That happened.
Stop saying that you're in the forefront and you're pushing something that you can't push. Sandy, in your mind, right? As an older white dude.
Damn.
Chad. No, seriously. Am I crazy by thinking that they need to start hiring some women?
No. You're not crazy. It's an absolute must. You've got smart women out there that know wrestling and are involved in wrestling and know how to do it. Like, you've got some of them on your roster. So why not start letting them push ideas and do stuff like that? But here's where your argument completely falls down. The WWE is not interested in the women's movement. If they were, they wouldn't be going to Saudi Arabia. And they're going again. And they went last time. And that they had to leave their entire women's roster at home. So to say that they are there for women's rights and they want women to be involved.
I'm not saying that.
No. I know you're not. I'm just saying that from the WWE, they say that. And they're trying to do this. But yet on the very basic level, they go, "Hey guys, we're going to give you your own pay-per-view, but we can't take you to Saudi Arabia because they'll stone you to death." Okay, that's awesome. Why would you go there? Why would you do that if you're really involved in pushing your women? So what? Like you'd rather have more billions of dollars than you already have now, and not have the respect of the entire world. You know, that you stood up for something and said, you know what, money doesn't mean everything. We want our women to be the most
Yeah,
important
but
people on the
that
roster.
goes back to expectations and knowing what you're looking at.
Oh,
When has Vince McMahon ever been at the forefront of anything cutting edge? He's a
never. But that's the point.
70-year-old white dude from Greenwich, Connecticut.
But that's the point that I'm making, is unless they do a systemic change in all of the WWE from the head all the way down, you're not going to. And as long as Vince is in charge, I guarantee you, if Paul was in charge, this wouldn't be a business decision. He's got what, 3 daughters, 4 daughters, like what, 3 daughters?
3.
So yeah. So you get him in charge, and I bet you $1 billion they don't go to Saudi Arabia.
You know,
Because why would he do that to his kids?
I think I'm so big on the women doing their thing is because, you know, my daughter doesn't know. You know, I'll be straight up. When it came to wrestling, when she was growing up, she's 8. Between like 4 and 6.5, 7, right? Her little friends in school talk about John Cena, and we didn't watch wrestling. You know what my daughter watched? UFC with me. My daughter knew how to put on a rear naked choke at 5 years old, and she would choke your kid unconscious. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we watched. I have baby pictures of her by a UFC screen like this. And she was like 8 months old like this. She says, oh, that's fake, right? Okay, come WrestleMania, I started rewatching wrestling, and she would sit down with me. She goes, Dad, I thought you said this is fake. And I explained to her, yeah, it's not fake. What they do is real, but the story is a story like a TV show. She goes, oh, I like that girl with the orange hair. I said, who, Becky? She goes, yeah. And I was like, why? She goes, because she doesn't take anybody's shit. Okay, don't say that in public. Okay.
Nice.
We will continue watching. And then, you know, WrestleMania, I'm in East Coast. I'm 45 minutes away from where it really happened. It was what, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night when they finally got on.
Yeah.
And my kid was still rolling around, and I go up to her and I say, hey, baby, you want to watch the main event of WrestleMania? She goes, with you? Yeah. I said, it's the girls. She goes, Becky? I said, yeah. Why do you like Becky? She goes, because she's the man. I want to do what they do. I think I could beat them. Now, I know she's an 8-year-old kid, and she probably won't be a wrestler, but she might end up being a wrestler because of the shit she saw when she was a kid. I don't want her going into a world where they're pigeonholed. You know,
and
I want the best. I want the best for women because I'm surrounded by women. I don't have a son. I got girls. You know what I mean? And I can't put a football in her hand. I can't, you know, box her up and treat her like a boy. I do because she needs to defend herself, but she's a girl. I got unicorn cups, and, you know, I don't drink out of my unicorn cup on screen because I don't want these fools thinking I'm some softy. But you know what my favorite cup is? The unicorn cup she got me. Matter of fact, fuck it. I'll show you.
nice.
Real, and you know, honestly, he's got a good point because I have daughters and I feel the same way.
See my
You
unicorn
know,
cup? Yep.
it's an awesome cup.
That's how I rock.
You know, and you know, that's everything. You know, being able to look up at the screen and say, you know, like, I want to do that, just to give them the idea that it's possible. Like, that's always a great thing. But when it comes to just like the WWE, they got competition coming, and if they don't get their shit together, you know, they might have some issues. But then again, now that we've been talking, honestly, something's actually starting to kind of make sense. You know, Vince McMahon is losing all this money supposedly with all this loss of ratings, right? Maybe that's why he don't care, because he knows he got that Saudi money. Two events a year, he makes more money than WrestleMania on one of those events.
And you know
So
what?
that's like having 3 or 4 WrestleManias in a year. So maybe he just don't care anymore because the money's going to come in regardless.
Sandy, as a lifetime fan, right? And I went to WrestleMania 1. I got my dad looking for the ticket stubs, right? I was there when Hogan and Mr. T went with Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper.
Nice.
I think I was 5, 6, maybe 7 at the time. I'm not exactly sure about the age. I know I was there
I'd be close.
because my mom still has the program and the things wrapped up in a thing because my dad said, "Don't throw that out. I think this is gonna be something." You know how I got into wrestling? I think my dad was a wrestling fan. He won't admit it, but when somebody like Ivan Putski and you know what I mean, the full Nelson, like as a kid, I used to see him and be like, yo, I want that looks like fun. Oh my God, I don't want my kid growing up and think, one time a good example is, and I know I'm probably going off key, but it's a kickback. One time my kid, this is a football house. My daughter looked at me and said, Daddy, I want to play football like you did. And I had to tell her that she couldn't. And that bothered me. You know what I mean? There are some men out there that can't handle the physical abuse of football. I played Division II football for 3 years. I didn't go D1 because I had some personal thing that came up, and then, we're not gonna talk about that. But no, baby, you can't. Why not? Because they don't like girls. Why not? Because it's too hard for you. Who says?
Yeah, who says?
I can't
Yeah.
answer those fucking questions. You know what I mean? So if my kid wants to grow up and be Bailey one day, or Sasha Banks, or whoever she looks up to, I want her to be able to go into a world and know that she's going to be treated equally and fairly, not by some dude like Vince McMahon, who obviously, he's losing his touch, he's out of grips with reality, and he's all about the money. You know why he's all about the money? Because he's 70, what, 72?
Something like
Probably,
that.
He's in his
right?
70s.
75 is the cutoff. We don't know exactly, but I'm not going to Google it. Somebody that age who had all this power for so long and sees the inevitable coming, what is AEW and New Japan, you know what? Let me get all the money I can now. And when it all falls apart, I only have a couple years left to live, and I'll kick rocks.
I will defend the WWE on one point. When it
What's up?
comes to their young fans, they
Mhm.
are like, and maybe not Vince himself, but the WWE as a whole really, really goes out of their way to, all of the Make-A-Wishes that they do. And, John Cena is the one that gets always talked about because he's got like over 700 of them, but they
Mhm.
all do it. Like they all go to those hospitals and talk to those sick kids and,
Oh no,
and
I'm
like
not.
the Be a Star program. No, I didn't say that you were. I'm just saying for when it comes to like, so your daughter and JB's daughters, they absolutely have the right to look
You
at
look like a hobbit.
these girls, these ladies that are wrestling, like physically actually wrestling, not bra and panty matches or
Yeah. I wouldn't let her
gravy
watch that
matches.
shit.
No, because it was,
Let.
and who wanted to watch? That was when you got up to go to the bathroom. That was when you fast forwarded or moved on or went and did something else, made a beer run somewhere. But like that's exactly what. But we're not there now. Now we have actual athletes that are in the ring wrestling. And daughters should be able to look up to those wrestlers and say, I want to be like Sasha Banks. I want to be like Bailey. I want to be the man. I want to be Charlotte Flair. That's what they're there for. It's just like, young boys. They all want to be John Cena. Everybody above the age of 15 hates John Cena and boos him all the time. But you know what? The kids love him and they want to be like John Cena. The WWE still does a really good job at engaging the children that are coming up there. I just think that what they do with their actual message is they really, really got to get their message straight. If you're for women and you want to make sure that your women are the most important thing that you guys have, the most important resource you have on your roster, then it shouldn't matter how much money you're making somewhere else. And I get where you're saying that Vince is just, counting the money so he can retire at the highest amount that he could get. But there's a point that people actually have to like go up to him and say, Dad or Mr. McMahon, this is stupid. Like, people are really, really backlashing on us because we can say all we want about the women's movement and how much we support that, but they all know it's crap. Like when John Cena and Daniel Bryan throw up their hands and goes, yeah, I'm not wrestling in the greatest pay-per-view ever. There's something wrong. There's something wrong about that. So
you're right, Sandy, and it goes with like Sasha Banks because
James, I don't mean to cut you guys off. Continue the conversation. I gotta go handle something.
Okay. But yeah, bro, it goes with Sasha Banks. I mean, she asked for her release like a lot of the WWE superstars are doing right now. And it just goes to show how bad things are for the morale in the locker room. Like honestly, so like take Sasha, for instance. She was the tag champion with Bayley, and they were supposedly promised a tag team championship reign that would last a long time. They were wanted to make the titles mean something. Evidently, they were the ones who basically breathed them into existence, according to them. And then at the last minute, Vince comes in like craziness and changes it for some reason. And yes, it's upsetting. And I think the Iconics can do everything that they can do. And I think that they've been handling with what they've been given well. But it doesn't help the situation that you have Luke Harper asking for a release, Sasha Banks, the revival. You had people already granted releases because they did it a certain way. Now Vince McMahon is stepping on their toes because people like Dash Wilder and them and people like Luke Harper, they're adding time to their at the end of their contracts to make up for their injury time just so they won't join AEW in a specific amount of time. And it's just crazy. I mean, that's why Dean Ambrose wasn't going to be there. Dean Ambrose is like, man, fuck this. And then you got people like Dustin Rhodes, who was getting paid for gold to be Gold Dust, but he didn't get to wrestle. Like, he was just not doing anything. And the same thing's happening like the Revival. Now they're getting their back shaved on TV. And I hear that they got more money offered to them just so that they wouldn't leave. So it's not even turning into like they can't even wrestle now. Like, they're going to get buried and they're not, and people are going to know that they're there. They're the ones that are going to be there for money. And then Vince McMahon is going to hold on to them as long as he can. But eventually they're all going to go to AEW if they got the talent to make it there. And if AEW does things right, they can pick up where WCW left off and they might be able to be the number one promotion. I mean, so far they're doing everything the right way. And we just have to wait and see if they're going to get some of the talent that WWE loses. And one of the first things that we're going to find out possibly is Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose. If he goes to AEW, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to be the same type of game changer. You've seen the meme. It's going to be Lex Luger, WCW Nitro, all over again. Yeah. And I think that the WWE...
My apologies. I had to take care of some family thing.
No worries, bro. Good. I think the WWE and Vince McMahon, if they don't stop messing with people's contracts and doing a shady business to keep them around, it is going to turn their company into the worst company to work for. And wrestlers are going to just be itching to not even care to do their job and to get out.
So, and that's scary too, because when you got guys that don't want to be there and you're putting them out into matches, man, that's when somebody could really get hurt. Because if you just stop caring, then but somebody's going to get.
But Sandy, you know what I think, honestly, and that may be a concern. And I'm not, I honestly think that there's a rapport between the guys backstage. If me and you, we may work at the same, like say we work at Costco, right? Hypothetical. Our manager's a piece of shit, right?
Sure.
But every night you have to depend on me to make sure that forklift is up and steady with all that weight so you can lock it into its bin. I may hate my job
Yeah, fair
and
point.
my boss, but I don't want my coworker to get hurt and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Well, and you're right, and you're absolutely right. And I would never ever say that somebody would like on purpose go out
No, not
and
on
flub a
purpose,
move
but
or do anything like that. But when you have people that like, listen, I've been in jobs before where I just, the year before, I left that place, I was just mailing it in, and just mailing it in. And, when I was much younger and didn't have the work ethic that I have now. But, and so what if that happens? What if you get one person who's just like, oh,
all right.
fuck this shit.
But
I get you, and I mean it's a long shot, and I totally respect your point on that one, and agree with it as well. I don't think nobody would legit go out there and fuck up a move to hurt
yeah, but
somebody.
mailing it in may cause a
That's right.
I got you. I understand.
Well, maybe unless they mail it in like on a promo, and that's kind of what I was gonna get more towards. Is like, in your, AD, you're right. There is that rapport backstage, and especially with the wrestlers, and they Bret Hart would be the first one to tell you he ain't never hurt nobody, and
Owen
but,
did.
but not on
he
purpose.
did.
So
No,
not
I
on
It
know.
purpose
wasn't on
either,
purpose.
right? So
We're just
I'm pretty
Look,
sure
the
Owen
Canadian was like, "Hey, fuck you, Owen's great."
no. Listen,
I was messing with you.
yeah, no, but if we're talking
He
Owen,
wants to laugh.
no matter what, I
Laugh.
think Owen paid for whatever mistakes he must have made, in time and stuff like that. But
Even
yeah, what
Stone
what
Cold
happened to
said
Stone Cold was just
it was an
a
accident.
freak accident. So it's too bad. I mean, with those accidents happen, and I mean it shortened Stone Cold's career by maybe 6 years, probably
10.
10. Yeah. So it's always shitty when that happens, and you don't ever want to see accidents. And I don't think that anybody would do that. But I agree with JB. I think that people going out there. So what do you think about this match? All right, yeah, it's a match. Let's go. And they walk through the curtain. How entertaining is that shit, right? I mean, you don't want that kind of crap. And yeah, if there's another organization that's coming up and doing sort of what WCW did and said, all right, if you guys aren't happy, bing, 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 get you planted over there. Well, you just got yourself a ready-made roster of legit stars that are already known. Well, guess how WCW took over the Monday Night Wars? That's exactly how. Familiar people and a new idea, NWO. As long as you got one.
It was Hogan, Savage, and Piper.
Yep.
Those three. Vince thought that they were done. He thought that they had nothing more to offer, and WCW picked them up and they built it. And that's and then it all came after that. Yep. It's very similar things that are going down with this whole process of WWE just fucking up, and AEW. So far, if you guys don't know, so Double or Nothing has a match between the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers for the AAA Tag Team Championships. They won the AAA Tag Team Championships against the Lucha Brothers in AAA on their TV. They had a TV show. It was TV. Their rating, I don't know what their rating was, but their viewership broke all the records for that show. That match
was
aired
it in
on
the
TV.
United States?
It was just Mexico. Mexico, and it got 5.4 million viewers.
Ooh.
Wow, that's pretty much
wow. When we're talking back in the day during the Monday Night Wars, like the winners would be like maybe 2.9, 3.0, 3.1, and you're talking, wow, like holy shit, man.
Here comes the most
coming.
Feel free to laugh when I say this, right? I've never seen the Young Bucks wrestle.
You should.
Now, with that being said, you know why I haven't seen the Young Bucks wrestle?
Because you watch WWE?
No. Because I've seen pictures and I'm like, this is really the best tag team in the world?
Yes. So I'm gonna give you I'll give you a list of like 2 or 3 matches to check out. They got plenty, but some of my favorites.
Well, don't give it to me now because I don't got a pen and I'm not trying to write shit.
No, for later. I'll send it to you later.
All right, yo.
Send it to me too.
We're about an hour in. I say, hey, Sandy, you got another 20 minutes or so?
Yeah.
JB, you got another 20 minutes or so?
Yeah.
All right. I wanna ask you guys a question, being that you're lifelong fans. Am I wrong to think that this Money in the Bank announcement of the matches is garbage. And I wait. Before you answer, I get it. Ricochet, Andrade, Finn Balor, garbage, and maybe that one isn't totally garbage because I can see the potential. But I really feel like this women's one is garbage. It's garbage. Yeah, garbage. Ruby Riott got left out. Nikki Cross. You force feeding me Dana Brooke, Carmella. Fuck out of here. I'm good on that Carmella chick, man. All she has is a super kick. Dana Brooke. I don't know. She looks like a sea monkey with muscles.
She does have a really good super kick, though. Carmella.
That's all she got. If that's all
I know, but I'm just saying that is
Shaquille O'Neal, right? You know how Shaquille O'Neal was in the Hall of Fame? Not by shooting, by dunking. All he had was a dunk. Give Shaquille O'Neal $100,000. Tell him to make a free throw. See what happens.
But he's still in the Hall of Fame.
You telling me Carmella's going to the Hall of Fame?
Dude, you never know. Snoop Dogg's in the Hall of Fame.
Wait. Yeah, exactly.
Wait.
Snoop Dogg's in the Hall of Fame.
Listen,
Hold on. You're triggering me. I'm about to
all right. I'm going to tell you this. I'm actually sold on
You did it on
Carmella.
purpose. Look at me laughing. See, Sandy, this is the shit I deal with on a weekly basis.
Nah. Look, no. I'm not dogging out your opinion. I'm just saying that the Hall of Fame is, you don't talk about garbage. The Hall of Fame is a little garbage.
No. Wait, Sandy. What were you gonna say, brother?
Well, I'm gonna join JB on this one. The Hall of Fame is garbage. It's just whoever, like, you've inducted every single person of the clique but Sean Waltman. Like, really? Come on, seriously. But you get him in by putting DX in this time, so you don't. But
hey,
I'll tell you.
I'm sorry, Sandy. I do have to say this because I just got reminded of something about Carmella. There is another move that she does have that she does not use a lot that she should use more. That is nasty.
It's that Carmella lock, right?
The code of silence.
Yeah, it's brutal, man.
Yeah, that is good. And then their super kick. But like, I get what you're saying, though, AD. I know what you're saying. Like, for a Money in the Bank match, man, hell no.
I'm actually over on Carmella. I was sour on her from the beginning and I didn't like her, but her work on the mic is really starting to pick up a lot. She's really good. You know, I listen, I shit on the Iconics as much as possible because listen, I don't mind them when they're wrestling. But if I have to listen to them, my God, it's like screeching wildebeests every time they open their mouths. And I just want to, like, okay, I have to turn them out. Okay, they're going to talk. I have to mute the TV because it's just like,
okay. Sandy. I respect you as a man. I respect everything you've done for the trivia leagues. I respect you as a fellow Dolphins fan. I got nothing but love for you. But I will lock you and my wife in a goddamn closet if y'all say one bad thing about the Iconics. Right? And if you tell me that you over on Carmella one more motherfucking time.
All right, Adonis. It's okay. We've got the championships. All right.
I know.
Busted everybody's eardrums doing that.
You know why I like them?
Yeah.
No, you know why I like them? Because you're annoyed by them. She's annoyed by them. Oh God, they're doing their job.
Yeah, you know what their job does? Makes me turn the channel. I'll watch CNN before I listen to those screechers.
He said CNN. Oh no. All right.
Or Fox News. Just be, you know.
Back to Carmella.
News person.
Back to Carmella.
Hold up though. So you said okay. So Carmella, I think that in a ladder match, like she doesn't have too much to offer.
She doesn't have nothing to offer.
Yeah, but I agree. I don't think the women's Money in the Bank match is going to be that great. I hope that they can do whatever they can, but I actually think that the men's side will surprise a lot of people.
Before we jump to the men, in a perfect world, there's no Dana Brooke, There's no Carmella. There's no Natalia. Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan.
Oh,
You see, look. See, I could write this shit.
yeah, okay.
Psychotic. Look what I'm bringing to the table. Absolute chaos. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Nikki Cross will take any bump you put in front of her, and she knows what she's doing. Nobody's gonna get hurt. Ruby Riott, somebody who brings athleticism, technical work, and the world doesn't like her. Perfect heel. Sarah Logan. This is a double angle. Everybody's up on her. She's about to join the Viking experience because they're going to break up the Riot Squad anyway. You get that angle where her and Ruby are up on the ladder and they have to actually fight each other. That breaks them up because you already broke them up when you sent Liv Morgan to SmackDown. Let's keep it real, right? You have a three dynamic there with the other ones. Ember Moon and Nikki Cross have had classics. You have Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross who have had classics. Sarah Morgan's a loose cannon. You have your high spots with Naomi. Come on, man. Ember Moon all day jumping off of shit. Come on, man.
Yeah, but
And you give me Natalia, who I respect, who I think makes the roster head and shoulders better than anything it could be because she's the one who's the leader in the locker room. She's the one who puts people over. She's the one when you want to test somebody and see what they really got. She's the best wrestler in the organization. Technically, she's dungeon all day, but she's not a title contender anymore. Let's call it what it is. She doesn't need to be there.
You know what, AD? I can agree your SmackDown side when it comes to Nikki Cross and even Ruby, but I would take Logan out, and I would take whoever else out, but I would put because I'm sorry, like I know that they're a tag team and they're gonna probably have a tag title match there or something, but I would put Asuka and if they were concerned with having a good match, I'd put Asuka and Kyrie in there too.
You know why
Start
you don't put Asuka and
insane
Kyrie
elbow
in?
off the top of the ladder. I'm just saying that's what I would do. That's
Yeah,
what I would do.
but you want to see an insane elbow come from 18 feet in the air. But storyline wise, they don't need to be there. Sandy,
Well, yeah, because they're in the tag division, but I don't. But that's what I would do. Just if
Sandy,
if they wanted a good match, I don't think they care about this women's match to be a good match. I don't think they care if it's a good match or not. To be honest with
Sandy,
you,
who do you put in, Sandy? Who's your pick? What would you do with the women's ladder match?
Um,
Do you know who's in it?
yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much said it all right now.
I'll break it down for you real quick. On the
Yeah.
Raw side, you have Alexa Bliss, Natalia, Naomi, and Dana Brooke. On the SmackDown side, you have Bayley, Mandy Rose, Carmella, and Ember Moon.
Okay, so all right.
Who would you take out of there, and who would you replace them with?
Okay, I would take Alexa Bliss out. Listen, I mean, come on. She's a great heel. She really is. I dig her. Is anybody like she's not Rey Mysterio? Like, does anybody believe somebody who's like 4'1" is going out there against these behemoths and actually being able to do anything to them? No, Alexa Bliss for me is a host of some type, and that's all she is. I don't think who you put in with her.
Sandy.
I know. Hey, it's gonna get worse.
No. First, wait. Hold your thought. JB knows where I'm going with this. Thank you for being the first person that didn't say the politically correct thing on our show. He said she's 4'1". Nobody wants to see this gremlin wrestle.
I mean, remember back, a couple 18 months or a year ago when she was going toe to toe with Naya. Like, really?
Well, we don't talk about it.
I get it. But I'm just talking about one.
I get hives when I talk about
and
Naya.
one.
Bro.
Yeah.
Oh wait, let him.
Yeah.
All right, so you're taking Alexa out.
I was about to roast him a little bit, but I'm not gonna.
All right, man. I totally get it. And that's not saying that a small person can't, physically put themselves up against somebody who's bigger, and speed is a factor. And I get all that, and that's fine. It's just not believable to me.
Nope.
Well, the only reason I don't want to see Bliss do it is I talked about on the show. She did that same shit last year. I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see Washburn's repeat.
I bet you she wins it now.
All right. So I've got all right. So I'm taking Alexa out, and I'm taking Dana Brooke out. Dana does nothing for me. I don't know why she's even still wrestling. It doesn't matter. I'm going to take Mandy Rose out, and I'm going to take Carmella out.
Nice.
Of it. I was almost going to take Ember out, but I do want. I listen. I think that Ember's also been a victim of bad booking, just like Asuka has, and I don't know why. She's got charisma.
You know
she's
why?
good on the mic.
What? You think she's good on the mic? She's cringy.
I do. I think she's good on the mic. I think she's okay. She says what she needs to say, and she doesn't sit there. The one person I can't stand on the mic is Naomi. I'm gonna hit you with my glow butt, and I'm gonna hit you with my glow elbow, and I'm gonna hit you with my glow. I'm tired of it. We all know that you named her that because of the Glow series on Netflix, and you wanted to capitalize on that wrestling aspect. I get it, but it's just the stupidest gimmick I've ever. So, but the only reason I don't take Naomi out is because she's super athletic, and she's one of those high flying people, so she can do something stupid from the top rope or from the top of the ladder.
She's the women. She's Shelton Benjamin with extensions.
Exactly. I don't know who you put in there. I
what
definitely.
Do you know? You took him out. You got to replace him, fool.
You know what,
man? I wish Sasha wasn't mad right now, because Sasha would be the perfect person to put
an option.
Yeah, and Sasha's not an option, so
he should be.
You know,
all right, let's go one at a time. You taking out Alexa Bliss. You have the choices between Nikki Cross, and you can call up an NXT person if you want. This is fantasy, so call up somebody to replace Alexa Bliss.
I'm not. I'm gonna do what JB did. I'm gonna break up a tag team. I'm gonna put on the Smackdown side. I'm gonna take Mandy and Carmella out, and I'm gonna put Asuka and her partner in. To take care of that one. I don't care. I actually don't mind Ruby Riott sometimes, so I'll put Ruby Riott in for Alexa. And I mean, you could put a punching bag in there for Dana Brooke. It doesn't matter. So just find the female Brooklyn Brawler and just slap her in there.
Brooke? I put in Rhea Ripley.
Oh, from NXT. Okay.
That's a side.
She'd be straight.
She'd be all right.
Maybe perfect to call somebody up too, because Nikki Cross. I would like her in there anyway. Nikki Cross. Ember's fine in there. They could call somebody up. They could easily call somebody up.
All right. Well, final thoughts, man. As far as the state of the fans and how you feel.
Well, I'm just gonna say this real quick. On the men's side, I ain't gonna talk about who I would replace, but I just want to say this. I really think that we could be surprised with how good that match is gonna be. You go back and watch I think it's like the third Money in the Bank. The first one that Kane was in. It brought that aspect of it, and I think Baron and Drew and Braun, even though there's three big guys, maybe that's a little bit too much. I think that's probably why they have more flippiness coming on the other side with Ali and Andrade and Finn, and then they got Randy, which I think is going to have I think we should have an RKO count for that event, maybe for that match, maybe I think at least 3 or 4,
plus or minus 5.
Yeah, there's going to be some RKO.
I'll take the under 5 on that one.
I might take the over. RKO's out of nowhere are always fun to have. 5 or more. I mean, there's 7 other people in there. So, I mean, there's a good chance that he's going to give every one of them at one point in time.
Yep. I could see him doing the foot swing off the ladder to one. I could see him hitting one off of a springboard and then a couple regular ones. Maybe one through an announce table. That'd be sick.
Nice. What are the rules in is it same as like no disqualification, no count out, no nothing?
The only rule is you gotta climb the ladder and get the briefcase.
I have a prediction, and I think it's going to be a dirty finish, and I think it's going to be I think Lars is going to come down to the ring and he's going to pick a fight with Strowman, and that's going to take Strowman out of the match. And then that's going to create a feud between those two big behemoths, which I think they want Braun to have is like something that's not title oriented. They want to get him back into the swing of things. And the only way you can do that is to put somebody of like size and strength against him. And the only one that's there right now is this Lars guy. So I think that's what's going to happen because he's been doing it on every single show for the last month. He comes on to SmackDown, beats up the Usos. He comes on to SmackDown, beats up the Hardys. Comes back, beats up the Hardys. He's beating up the
shit out of R-Truth twice.
Beat the shit out of R-Truth and what was the other tag team that was in there with him when he was anybody. He's just been wrecking shop all over the place. I think that we're going to see a feud begin with him, however it happens, because there's no disqualification. There's no reason for him not to go down there and beat the crap out of everybody and then just walk away. If that's what they do, I still think he's going to fit in somehow. As far as the match itself, they got a good mix of people in there. I'm not sold on Ricochet. I'm not. I need more time with them to get to know him because I don't watch NXT, so I don't have that wealth of experience with him. So I need to see more of what he can do in the WWE. Same with Aleister Black. I'm not a big fan of him yet. But trust me, listen, Nico is in my ear all the time too about these two because I say that all the time, and they're like, no, they're so good.
Hey, Sandman, I will also send you a list of matches.
Okay.
I co-sign that. I co-sign that Ricochet, Aleister Black.
The
same way I'm ignorant to the Young Bucks, Ricochet and Aleister Black are those dudes.
I'm ignorant to the Young Bucks too until Hunter's always yapping at me about how good the Young Bucks are. So, but yeah, I think both matches have the potential to be really good. It all depends on if they can sell it. The men we know will sell it because they'll just beat their bodies into oblivion. And when you've got somebody like Finn Balor, you're getting a stomp off the top rope onto somebody lying horizontal on a flipping ladder somewhere. That's going to happen. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be high flying. There's going to be jumping all over the place with Ricochet, in there and Finn as well. The women's match, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, if they put on a good show, it's a good show. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. On paper, does it look good?
Nope.
Not really. As a good old Canadian boy, I will say that I really do want Natalya to win because I think she deserves one more title reign to solidify herself into the Hall of Fame. It doesn't even have to be a long one. It can be a short one. But I don't know. I think it's got potential. Let's see if they can pull it off. I just don't know if they will. I don't know if they've got the talent in the ring to be able to do it. So
yeah, I think they sold themselves short trying to put names in without putting in, legit people. But it is
and normally something like this, you'd see Lacey Evans would be in the Money in the Bank to make her debut, right? So like she'd have 5 or 6, 7 of the people to carry her through it, and they could make it a good match even if they let her win it. So she'd begin the show, but automatically her first match is going to be a title shot against for the Raw title, and then the man is going to do another title shot with Charlotte. They lost an opportunity that they could have put some people that had got big names and big talent in there for a title shot opportunity. I think they just dropped the ball a little bit on this one.
Vince pushes his 5'8" stacked blondes, B.
Yeah, I know.
It is what it is. This has been the Kickback. We have been at this for about an hour and a half. Once again, Sandy, not a lot of people come on this show. There's always either an excuse or they're busy, and I don't hold anything against them, but we do our thing here, and we don't do it like just everybody else. We just be us. And I reached out to you, and thank you, for taking time out of your Friday night and joining us. And straight up, I know I speak for JB3, and I never speak for us until I really know. Always have a welcome. This is an open door policy. We do this thing with JB's new work schedule. We're gonna have to figure out the exact time and date. Once we work that out, I'll message you and I'll send you the times. And if you could join us, it's always gonna be that time. So if you're not busy and you want to talk some shit, you're always welcome to join us. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you.
Both you guys, my absolute pleasure. I appreciate you guys having me on. And anytime I'm available, I mean, you guys know I'm a pretty busy guy, but anytime I'm available, then I would absolutely love to come in here and talk shop with you guys. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, like you said, you're a very busy dude. You got a lot on your plate. You got a lot of tournaments and things coming up, and I know the Full Metal thing is about to really kick off during the summer. So thanks again, man. It was a pleasure finally having a straight up conversation with you. We've talked over Messenger before, but thanks again for blessing us, our little show, with your great presence.
My pleasure.
JB, wait, first off, Sandy, where can the people find you if they don't already know?
If you guys don't already know, you guys can go over to Full Metal Media on Facebook and YouTube. Sign up there. Get a hold of me on Messenger. S Robinson 1799 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on Letterboxd, which I am horrible about putting lists up, but when I do, people yell at me. So you guys can all find me there. And you guys can find me playing in the multiple leagues that are in here. Multiplex Entertainment, love you guys. They got their summer series for their fandom coming up, so I'm looking forward to that. Just like we have our geek tournament coming up soon for over at Full Metal Geek, and our tournament for singles and teams is well underway. We just recorded our second team and singles match this week, and those will be going up next week. Like, subscribe, follow, comment, come and talk to me anytime. I'm always available. Thanks, guys. I love being here.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for thank you for joining us. Much love. JB3, my brother.
Hey.
Right, we have to ask.
Combat Wrestling Network. We got the breakdown, like you said, like AD said, we're going to come up with a new time. It's probably going to be nighttime around like what we're doing right now, but maybe on a Wednesday night, or we'll give you more details. We'll figure that out. But yeah, you could catch me here on the breakdown anytime we do a kickback and relax and just chill and talk about a bunch of shit. Just what we're going to do. Other than that, you could just look me up on any other social media site, James Walter Berryman III. Don't spell out the third. Just 3 eyes like her angle. And love y'all too. Like AD says, Sandy, thank you so much for coming on here. You're the first person besides Nico to come on and join us on the show. And we would love to have you for any time. You seem to know a lot about wrestling. You have a good brain. And I like the dynamic that all three of us bring, because you see here, we have different opinions, and we're not just gonna, kiss each other's ass and sugarcoat each other's answers. We're just gonna, be real and talk about how we really feel about it. So it's how we do, and we really appreciate your realness, and we really appreciate your true opinion, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And I appreciate this, to be able to come in and give my opinion without having to worry about, political correctness or somebody bashing my choice. That's a really freeing thing, and I really appreciate that. And like I said, anytime I can be on, I'll be on with you guys.
And I am, like always, your host, AD, the nasty one, Adonis Nazario. Like I said before, I'll say it again. This is a place where there's no filter. Like, comment, subscribe. Just don't be nasty to each other in the comments, because if I see you being an asshole to anybody out there just trying to talk about wrestling and feel free in this environment, I will block you. And if you're close enough for me to drive through, I will punch you in your fucking face. I'm not an internet thug. I'm a real nigga. Anyway, thank you for joining us. I am AD Nasty. That's been JB3. That's my friend Sandy Robinson, the Sandman. Look him up at Full Metal. All trivia shit. Bow down, kiss the ring. This has been the Kickback. This has been the Breakdown. I am AD Nasty. One more time, you can find me on Facebook at Adonis Nazario. I call him Mustafa Ali. If you don't like it, fight me. We out this thing. Deuces.